Hello again and welcome back to another episode of Father and Sundays, the unexplainable guide to absolutely nothing. This week, it is episode 32 and we are talking about the Olympics and Paralympics.
I knew it was both those things.
Right, anyway, stick around if you want to hear more.
I will be.
Well, hello again, Dad.
Hello, Connor. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Wow, are you okay?
Well, I'm trying something out because I've listened back to some of our...
Listen back. We never talk about listening back to our previous podcasts.
Yeah, I know, I always listen back. But basically, I've realised I'm listening to myself. I sound really sort of downbeat. There's no... there is enthusiasm, but there's no sort of oomph to my what we could say performance on these podcasts. So I'm gonna try and be a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more upbeat. You're gonna perform. Yeah, I'm gonna up my game because I just sound like I'm slowly. It sounds like I'm drunk sometimes, and yet I don't drink hardly at all. So, and certainly not in these.
No, not in these.
Yeah. Not knees, did you say?
Not in these.
Oh, right, sorry.
Not in these.
Not in these. Right, yeah, but so listen out for that. You're going to notice a major difference. And I'm also, I've slipped back into old habits, and I just did it there. I'm getting terrible about finishing my sentences again. And I think even in the last one, twice I went, and then went on to something else.
So you're going to...
I'm going to try. I'm going to try to be better.
Be better?
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, are you ready to move on to the actual...
Yeah, sorry.
That's all right. Sorry.
Oh.
Anyway, this week, we've got not one, but kind of two topics, but all in one kind of thing, because we feel like they should be all in one.
Oh, they should be all in one. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And
so we are talking about not just the Olympic Games.
No.
But the Paralympic Games as well.
Yes.
And let's be honest, there is, strictly speaking, that means there's four things to talk about. There's the Summer Olympics and Paralympics. There's the Winter Olympics and Paralympics.
All right.
But I think primarily focus on the Summer Olympics and Paralympics in this particular podcast because...
That's good news.
Year is 20... Yeah, because you've only been focusing on those.
Absolutely.
And plus, the Winter Olympics is next year, so maybe we want to go into that a bit more.
Actually, because of the nature of the sort of sports in that, it'd be good to do a separate one.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth briefly mentioning because they are all the same
Olympics,
committee.
Yeah,
and they're all incredible people and whatever.
Oh, without a doubt.
And we'll go into it a bit more, but... It's something special about Paralympics, I find. But we'll mainly focus on the Summer Olympics and Paralympics, primarily because the year is 2021 and we are having the 2020 Olympics and Paralympics this year.
Madness, isn't it?
We had the 2020 Olympics at the beginning of the summer.
We did.
And as of the time of recording, the Paralympics is on at the moment. And as of the day this podcast goes out, we would have just finished the Paralympics. So it's kind of worth taking this moment to appreciate them.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Because there's certainly things, I mean, I don't know about you, there might be some things that you'd be all right at, but not top of the world without sounding funny, such as like running. But
there's many things in fact, everything.
Yeah, you're not the best in the world at anything.
Anything, no,
you don't know
definitely. No, I may have a niche in some, I don't know about sport, but in something I may be the best in the world at.
Like
being me.
Never finishing sentences.
Yeah, I am certainly in the top 10 for not,
Yeah.
I did that one deliberately.
I know, I can tell. But yeah, so we're talking about I just rubbed my beard on my mic then.
Yes. That's lovely.
Yes, that's for all you people out there who love beards.
You do like to tell everybody about everything, don't you?
What, about my beard?
So do you, I know the Paralympics is massive and it's something we both really enjoy.
Well, the thing is, the thing with the Paralympics, sorry to interrupt, but it's not massive, I'm putting quotation marks for anyone listening there, by the way, because it's still growing. I mean, even when you consider, I can't remember, I did actually look it up, but I can't remember. There you go, 1960.
Yeah.
1960 was when the Paralympics started. And now I don't know if that's something written down was hoping to talk about, but the Paralympics started in 1960. 1896 was when the Olympics Games was started.
Well, I think it's interesting. I mean,
the Youth Olympics, 2010. But anyway.
Yeah, but the Paralympics was 1960 when it was first called the Paralympics. Because it actually originated in Stoke Mandeville Hospital. There was a Jewish doctor that came to England, and he was working with some ex-servicemen, with injuries and such, and that's how it started. And I think the first games were around about 19 of these servicemen, but that is directly where it originated from.
Yeah.
And it's grown and grown and grown, and obviously gone to other nations.
Whereas the Olympics
and then been
in Greece.
Yeah, encompassed within the whole Olympic,
or encompassed, whichever you prefer. I think we should use that one
encompassed.
instead.
I'm going to use that more in conversation.
I think it weird looks
under the umbrella of the Olympics. So I mean, it's incredible that very small start to where we are now, and in the context of what the Paralympics, how I see it, what it means to me, and what it means to disabled people around the world who are not necessarily Olympians, because let's face it, most of us aren't Olympians. What a fantastic thing to have! What a game changer! No, I'm just trying to think, and I'm trying to be sensitive to it all as well. But what a game changer! Because when they put on these games now, the whole idea of it is and I think the whole idea from the Olympics, any type of the Olympics, is that there's a legacy to it. And when the Olympics, after the Olympics have gone from wherever they are, then there's a legacy and there's something there, and for the Olympic Games, the Summer Olympic Games, and we know from personal experience with 2012, the London Stadium, the Velodrome, the Aquatic Centre. There's a lot of places that are still there and still functioning now and still helping. I mean, anybody can go into certain parts of those, but also the professional athletes still use them. Yeah,
I mean, and this is big thing as well with 2012, and this was actually what I was trying to go on to just a moment ago. When it comes to the Paralympics, it's still relatively small, but when you look at within the UK and Great Britain and locally and stuff like that, it's grown a lot more in popularity. Not only because we're doing particularly well as well, but
yeah, that's true.
From the London 2012 Olympics and Paralympic Games, there was a lot more people were hooked on it a bit more, and since then people have been hooked on it ever since. Especially with shows such as The Last Leg making that bit easier, and Channel 4. I think I might have said it before on a podcast, but I've definitely said it to you in person, that it is one of my favourite channels because it is a bit alternative and they don't take things seriously. And when you do watch things like the Paralympics, the things like Last Leg will talk you through what's happening. They will make jokes out of things.
But there's no issue.
Brings the humour to it, and it basically says, no, it's okay. These things, and it's just these people doing extraordinary things. Olympians are incredible, but Paralympians, I find it somewhat. I do really enjoy the Paralympics because watching it, there feels like there's more events, and I think there's different things going on. You just watch these people and you go, how on earth are you doing that? Like the guy who plays table tennis with his mouth.
Oh.
And and we'll play it against someone else who's got both arms.
Don't you think it's very grounding? It's very humbling when you watch sort of things like that, because, you know, I moan about all the aches and pains a person of my age has. I moan and groan. I run quite a bit, and I moan and groan about my blisters. And my blisters are. And then you turn on the television and you see a guy absolutely at the top of his game playing table tennis with, like you say, with the bat in his mouth, and bringing the table tennis ball up with his foot. I mean, even to do that before you even start playing a game, even to serve looks like something I could never achieve. But then I think as well is that guy was playing against his opponent
with someone with two arms,
but obviously had another disability or something that meant that they were in the same sort of thing.
Very unfair if they did put them against.
No, it would have been really out of order.
Well, it's worth, and I like the fact that there's these role models made in both the Olympics and Paralympics. I know we've spoken a lot about the Paralympics, but it's because it's very current.
Yeah.
But people like Jonnie Peacock, amazing Paralympian he is, he's gone on to influence a lot of people, and basically that I can imagine, we've not gone through it, but I can imagine for someone that may have lost a leg or two legs or arms or something like that, to think, well, I'm not going to be better than that person there. I'm not going to be better than that person there with two legs, and when it's like possibly mental disability and stuff like that, you can think it'd be easier for them to think that. However, this person comes along, Jonnie Peacock or someone similar, Ellie Simmons, or someone like that, comes over and says, no, you're wrong. In the nicest way, you're wrong. You can achieve whatever you want
anything.
to. And let's be honest, those blades look cool.
Oh, they do. You used the word role models, didn't you?
Yeah.
And that is exactly what it is.
This is the thing with the Olympics as well, though. And I'm not just saying Paralympians and stuff like that. Olympians, though, even these people are the absolute top of their game, and showing people, look, this is possible. Especially when you look at the diversity within it, especially with a GB team, because we spoke about diversity within Great Britain, British in Great Britain. We discussed it in the previous podcast, and the diversity there is within this country and locally and elsewhere and such like that as well, where you can also have not just a role model because they're incredible, such as Mo Farah, really good, or Usain Bolt, but also to a certain extent of that person going from a different ethnicity, like a child from a different ethnicity, or seeing someone that looks like them, whether it be black, disabled, white, Asian, whatever it is.
A role model, someone that's come from the same place as they have, who looks like they do, who they can relate to. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and I marvel at these people because, again, not only are they remarkable in what they've, and I don't want to patronise people because, you know, I don't want to say, it's not like I'm saying, bless them, how well they've done, because that probably is an attitude people had in the past. Yeah. But you look what they've achieved, what they've been up against and what they've achieved, and then you think, okay, in normal life...
Jonnie Peacock had meningitis as a child, and he went out for a lot as a child.
In normal life, they've achieved so much, and that's not patronising each, but from where they've come from, what they've had to deal with. But to then be on a stage when they are competing against the best in the world, they have... the cycle of Olympics, which is always, I find heartbreaking for some people, is this 4 years, and this is why with the pandemic it's really thrown out, because they work and work to a particular thing to peak at the right time.
There have been some people that have benefited from having next year, because there was a Paralympian on the news today who won silver. I can't actually remember her name, unfortunately, but she won the silver. She was on track to win gold, but German just overtook her in the swimming. However, if it had been a year earlier, she just had a child, she wouldn't have been there.
No, and that's what happened. And I was listening to a podcast about runners.
You listened to other podcasts?
Yeah, and there was an Olympian. She's only younger, but she was looking to, and it was at the point in which she was looking to the 2020 Olympics, and saying, you know, I'm working towards that. And I don't remember hearing her name when I was watching the Olympics for that thing. So to me, that probably meant that either she peaked for that particular one and then didn't make it for the 21, or something's happened. And that's heartbreaking, because you're talking about people who dedicate their whole lives to doing it. And you think about some of the events that are like 100 metres. They work 4 years to get to that point. All right, they might have heats, but then they race in that race, and within 10 seconds, it's over. I can't get my head round it, really. You know, it is. These people are just head and shoulders above everybody else. On last week's episode, I insinuated that Sam had ginger hair. I have since been told his hair is not ginger but strawberry blonde, or even Titian in a certain light.
Fact check.
Wow, we got quite passionate there. You can really tell that we do enjoy both the Olympics and the Paralympics, because it's very, like I said,
it's an emotional roller coaster. Both of them are an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, and that's just the summer ones. I mean, when we get more into the winter ones next year as well. What I think, we'll go into the actual sports side of things. We haven't really spoken about the sports, but before we go forwards, something I learned the other day.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind that I've been watching, I think it's fair to say I've been watching the Paralympics since 2012. I watched it in 2012, fell in love with it, and watched it in 2016 and watched it in 2021, and really enjoy it, and sometimes enjoy it more than the Olympics, although the Olympics is great. But something I only just learned is the reason why it's called the Paralympics is because I kind of thought it might be something to do with para, might be something like disability wise, but no, it means parallel
Olympics,
to the Olympics.
The Parallel Olympics, yeah.
And people calling it the Paralympics is wrong. It's the Paralympics because it's parallel.
Yeah, but it's and it's exactly what it should be.
Although I do think potentially one day they should be all big one event.
Well, isn't the Commonwealth Games is
one big event?
Big event, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's not plausible to have that many people all in one location at once. Actually,
possibly not.
Maybe it does make it a bit easier, but in reality, maybe it should be that everyone, Team GB, just goes to the World Olympics.
Equally, I could see that if the
or just Olympics,
yeah. If it maintains it as two separate events, that's not saying they don't sit together, but it's actually putting at a particular point in time, all the focus is on the Paralympics, right? Okay. Anyway,
what just happened?
I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. All the focus is on the Paralympics, and all the focus is on the Olympics. Yeah. I do think Paralympics could potentially overshadow the Olympics if they're on at the same time.
Could well be, yeah.
I do honestly love both, but it just blows my mind.
There's obviously stuff in the Paralympics like boccia and goalball that only exist in that.
See, boccia, we're watching this, just watched a clip from it again a little bit earlier because we just won gold in it.
Did we?
Yes.
Brilliant.
Won gold in it. It's similar to bowls, but for people with, I don't know what kind of disability it'd be, but it's I think it's designed for people who can't play bowls.
Right. I can't play bowl.
But my point being is that it looked like, I don't know what kind of disability it was.
I think it might be sight, actually, because really? I think there must
it looked like cerebral palsy-esque.
Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen it, so I'll bow down to your...
I think the guy who won it, I don't know, I don't want to make assumptions, but he did look like he had trouble with movement of his arms.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'd like to have a go at, and I haven't actually seen it, darchery.
Sounds great.
It is what it says, a cross between darts and archery.
Yeah.
I think it started 1960.
The Paralympics.
Yeah, so it was one of the first ones in there. But and other things, I think just everything about it. I mean, look, they've got five-a-side football. What a great thing!
I just love the fact that they've made sports to fit people. That
Well, it's five-a-side football, and
wheelchair rugby looks
it tends to be for the
horrifying.
blind or partially blind. So they have sighted coaches, positioned behind the attacking goals so that they can shout to the players
where the goal is.
Where the goal is.
And meanwhile, the goalkeeper's going, shh, not over here, don't tell him.
Or trying to make out that it was something else. We could do with them at West Ham. If they could organise that and just stab it, over here, something like that. But, I mean, there's just so much. They do so much work after these games, like... I think was it Beijing one particular one. After that, the amount of money that was ploughed into even something like the Great Wall. Oh my God! Even Great Wall of China had some like ramps and lifts and things put in it as a result of making things more accessible after the Beijing.
Did you know? This Tokyo Paralympics is really quite big for Tokyo because they don't really do much in like Paralympic sport. They do it obviously, but it's not as big there.
They're the first ones to have it twice though, aren't they? They've had it once before, yeah. So they're first country the first city to have it twice.
The Paralympics twice.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Because obviously the Olympics been around a lot longer.
So it's the Paralympics. So that's quite a big thing. Did you know that there's an official Paralympic video game named the Pegasus Dream Tour that's going to be launched?
No, I didn't.
Or may well have already been launched. Now, again, it might seem a simple thing, but that is quite, and I'm going to use the word I use so much, significant, to have a video game that is just, it is what it is.
And very rarely do you get a video game that even has anyone with any kind of disability.
Is that true? I mean, I wouldn't know. It's not something I particularly...
Well, not that, unless it's someone with like ADHD or like some kind of mental disability or something like that. But not like anger management problems or something. Or
it is a funny one, right? And I do think it sounds funny, right? And I don't care. It's not me being horrible. There's such a thing as tappers, right?
Tappers?
And they're assistants...
No, that's Spanish food, Dad. Tapas.
Oh, that's it, yeah. They're assistants who tap the head of the swimmer with a visual impairment to let them know when they turn.
They've got a little stick with a ball on it. Boop. Yeah, they
what you do on a cat's nose. Ball.
Yeah, they tap them on the head so they know when the edge of the ball is.
That is brilliant. I haven't seen that, and that's fantastic.
Something just briefly to talk about as well, because you like running.
Yes, I like running.
I think something like you see the guides running with the blind runners. Do you think that's something you'd ever want to do?
Yes, it is, and that's something I've looked into, being a running guide. It's quite involved. Obviously,
you'd have to train with the person. And
I've been in many races where people have had guides, but there was one particular. It was a park run over in Chelmsford. I actually was running behind them, and he was saying, "Right, we're just going to. You just need to step to the left a little bit. We've got a few routes coming up, so just mind your steps. Try and make sure." And he was giving him a little bit of instruction all the way through, and it was very interesting listening to it. And I have inquired at it because I'd love to do it. I think it would be such a rewarding thing to do.
You just have to make sure you don't get someone too fast.
Well, to be honest, I'm not. Yes, no, you're again. Well, you'll be faster than the person you're running with because obviously you've got to be able to do that.
Keep up with them. But also, they've got to finish. They've got to cross the line before you.
Yes, they have. Yeah, I did know that. But no, I think it'd be great. I mean, I get lost all the time when I'm running anyway, so maybe I'm not the greatest.
Oh yeah, I ran with you in we're doing 7 woods, and
it's not great, is it?
It takes a lot longer than it's meant to.
Yeah, the medals that they have in the Paralympics, and we seem to be talking a lot more about that. I'm not afraid because it is great, and I've got a lot of heroes. I have a lot of heroes from the Olympics because I love running. There's a lot of people. I think
it's worth talking about the Paralympics.
Would aspire to be like.
It's worth talking about the Paralympics though, because I think a lot of people will have watched at least some of the Olympics, but there still is. There's a lot more people that watch the Paralympics, but there's still a lot more people that don't even know. People at work didn't even know it was on.
Yeah, see, that seems strange to me.
And it's just one of these things that I've been watching it and I've been loving it.
Yeah.
So
No, it is, and the Olympics. It's the sort of thing that we talked about being proud to be British, and I am proud to be British. And when I watch the Olympians of both the Olympics and the Paralympics, I have tears. You know, when I watch people, because it's such an emotional roller coaster, like we said.
Watching Ellie Robinson the other day,
and her speech afterwards about the fact that what she's overcoming at the moment, and you just think.
She's only 20.
You really do have to give yourself a slap round the face.
She's younger than me.
I know, and this is the case with so many of them. Anyway, look, I'm conscious of time, and I just didn't know whether you realised that some of the events, because they obviously trial events. Yeah, I'm not very good with my words today. So I think new ones were badminton and taekwondo in the Paralympics, but in the Olympics there was skateboarding, which obviously was great this time round.
Taekwondo. I heard one of the someone say the other day, it was a child who had both their legs amputated, and they said, "Oh yeah, I really want to take up taekwondo, but I can't do the kicks because it's not very good because I've got two metal legs." And
take someone's head off.
Yeah, take someone's head off.
That's very true. See,
and I just think,
have to be
don't
careful
think about that. Yeah, kicking someone with a metal leg.
I'll tell you what, and I'm going to repeat this. Paris, 1900 Olympics in Paris, right? So many things were included that when you think about it, they had live pigeon shooting.
Wow.
And the person who won it shot 21 in succession, right?
Wow, that's a lot of dead pigeons.
You know, they had...
And that's only the person who won it. You got to think about...
Yeah, there was loads of pigeons that got killed, but they were the ones who won it.
That's why they got clay ones now.
Yeah. What about... There was a horse, long jump and high jump at the Paris 1900 Olympics.
That's mostly the horse doing it anyway, isn't it?
Yeah. So they'd
just got selected.
They'd run the horse and they'd have to jump the horse, and that was both things were like that. What other ones were there? Oh right, now this made me laugh. Poodle clipping.
Oh,
right. They had 2 hours. I'm not making this up. 2 hours, and this was again in 1900. 2 hours to clip as many poodles as possible. It was in Paris.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
17 poodles, just in case you were wondering how many poodles they got through, who the one who won it. They had a 200-metre swimming obstacle race, right? Mm-hmm. Which I thought was good fun. That sounds like just total wipeout.
Swimming obstacle. That actually does sound like a lot of fun.
That sounds like all right. There were, in 1912 in Stockholm, pistol duelling.
Wow.
Right? Now, I know what you're thinking.
What am I thinking?
You're thinking, is this ever going to end? No, you're thinking, what? Real pistols shooting each other? But what they did, they used dummies. But what they also did is dress those dummies up as people just to make it more authentic. I thought when you were pistol dueling, you walked away from each other and then turned and shot. That ain't going to work with a dummy, is it? That must have been easy.
Yeah, who turns around first? Well, he's not turned around yet.
Yep, there was a plunge for distance in 1904 in America. See how far underwater you could get. Once you've gone underwater, how far you could get. I think the record was 62.5 feet.
Without dying.
This made me laugh, and I mean, there's some weird and wonderful things anyway. But solo synchronised swimming. Now, solo synchronised swimming ran from 1984 to 1992, right? But
involves one person, is it?
One person synchronised swimming. How can one person do synchronised swimming? That's just someone swimming.
It's just water ballet by that point, isn't it?
It's not synchronised in any way, is it?
No, it's just...
I suppose it's synchronised to perhaps the music.
I guess that's unless that's what synchronised means.
I suppose it could be.
Maybe it means synchronised to the...
It just sounds mad to me. Well, they were very good, weren't they?
They're
all very good, that one
all
person.
All the limbs
doing
moved together.
Yes, I mean...
To be fair, synchronised swimming, actually, I watched someone do it the other day. It's actually quite impressive.
Oh, some of the ones they did this
how they just kind
time.
of stay dead still and stuff like that. Oh, wow.
You just wonder, though. I mean, even stuff that's actually still in there, like walking. The walking's weird. And they get like red and yellow cards to if they lift their feet off the ground, because they're supposed to always have
speed walking was one of the ones.
Speed walking,
wasn't
yeah.
That? Yeah, skateboarding's in the Olympics now. Do you know what
modern pentathlon?
Modern pentathlon's a strange one, isn't it?
That's mental, isn't it? Swimming, yeah. Fencing,
yeah.
Right, okay. Long distance running, shooting, and then some show jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, what puts all that together?
It's a modern one, isn't it? You know what really confuses me?
Yeah.
Is, and I'm sure there's things to it, but I just never understand what's going on, and I will be honest, I get a little bit bored watching dressage.
Dressage? Yeah, that's a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a horse ballet.
I'm sure it's very, very...
Yeah, I'm sure there's loads going on. And actually, to be fair, I watched them they're making a horse like go do side steps and stuff like that, and you think, to get a horse to do that must be very difficult. It does feel like it's the horse doing it, but getting a horse to do that must be very difficult. I will be honest, I just don't find it as interesting to watch as someone running for 10 seconds.
Throwing or jumping.
I tell you what, I've got really into this Paralympics. I got really into wheelchair rugby. I watched. Well, I'd say
it used to be called murder ball, didn't it?
Is it murder ball?
No, murder ball.
Is it murder ball?
Yeah, it used to be called murder ball, and they've now changed it to wheelchair rugby because it sounds a little bit less.
Yeah, but it does look really quite harmful at times. I only watched about a game and a half.
Oh, it's quite very, very.
But I was
physical.
watching the final of where GB won, and it was incredibly tense. Like, I was genuinely getting a bit like, whoa, because the way it goes, it's almost like they score, you score, they score, you score, and it does seem to do that. And all it is, because you put in a ball in your lap and going to the other side of, it is about the moments where you manage to stop them scoring, and that's why they go in hard about that. Because once you change the direction, so it goes, they score, you score, they score, you score, you score, they score, you've now got one ahead, and it's just...
Oh, I think sport in general, I mean, any type of sport, and we're particularly talking about Olympics now, but it invokes so much emotion. It can make you cry, it can make you laugh, it can make you so proud. These people are remarkable.
Yeah, they are. New from Father and Son Records. A collection of your favourite animal-based songs, including the likes of...
Tyson the bison was a curious beast. He had terrible wind and an intolerance of yeast. No one would join him as he grazed on the grass. They were so in terror of his devastating... Brian the lion was a bit of a... His hair was all greasy. He was very, very fat. Jake the snake was the worst of his kind. In fondness for capes and an extraordinary mind. He'd hide up in trees and hollowed out logs, and as you passed by he'd bombard you with frogs.
Other songs include Amanda the red panda, Peter the cheetah, Gal the humpback whale, Sanjeet the sheep, Christoph the moth, and Akmar the jaguar, all available for just 12 Bitcoin a month.
Tina the hyena was a miserable cow. She didn't laugh like others, and her language was foul. She's a racist, a sexist, and a cute homophobe. She's the worst of mammalia, or at least that's what I'm told.
No animals were hurt in the making of this album, although some of the singing was criminal. Available from not very good retailers.
Game time.
Woohoo! Wow. Very passionate podcast this is.
It is.
For two people that aren't Olympians or Paralympians.
No.
We've got very passionate about it.
Well, it is.
For two very able-bodied people, we got very passionate about the Paralympics as well.
Oh, but yeah, like for all the reasons we've already said, it's very inspiring.
It is.
as a runner as well, watching both Olympics, it just makes me want to try that little bit harder.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, I will say though, with a lot of the sports they've got, it's been the same for a long time. I know we talked about some sports that have come and gone. It's been very much the same.
You're reading my mind.
Yeah.
I've thought for so many years now, they really do need to shake it up a bit.
I've been thinking the exact same thing, you know.
So what I thought, right, is, are you thinking this?
I think I might be.
Right, play the sting.
Oh, I was thinking that too.
What's your favourite sport? Do you like to swim? Run round a track or hang from some rings? What if your sport isn't quite the same? Would it be included in the Olympic Games?
What a great sting.
You say that every
I
time.
do, yeah.
You do. Right, so...
I feel like I need to compliment you.
Oh, no, that was very nice.
Isn't it crazy that we were thinking the same thing?
It's crazy.
Some
Must
people
be
might
because
think
we're
we'd...
father and son.
Yeah, some people might think we, like, organise what we're going to talk about.
I think...
But I can assure you, most of the time we don't.
If you listen to these, I think you're pretty much sure that we don't do anything like that. But what we were saying is, let's try and think of new ways. Like, I mean, it's great, the Olympics, but it might need something a little bit extra.
Yeah.
Because, you know, perhaps we want to get a different sort of audience on board. Perhaps we want to get people interested that, you know, usually think, running, cycling, you know, that's not for me. So, I don't know about you, but I've had a few ideas of perhaps new sports that we can introduce.
I've done the exact same thing.
You have?
Wow.
Fantastic.
We're making the same joke over and over again.
I know we are, yes. Okay, so with that in mind, have you got one that you want to kick off
No, I
with?
think you should go first.
You want me to kick off?
Yeah,
right.
because I feel like you might have written one more than me.
Oh, right. Well, maybe or maybe not. Okay, well, the first one's quite simple, right? We spoke about this in the main part of the podcast. Dressage, right? I think it's really unfair. I'm absolutely 100% behind what you said, that the horse does all the work, but doesn't get the recognition. Well, it does get a bit of recognition, but not
Don't you think they've sometimes got silly names? The one that won the dressage in the Paralympics the other day was called Best of 8. To be fair, there was 8 other horses, and it was the best one of 8.
So it's probably got the best name out of all of them. Then.
Yeah.
So I think that
another one was called Genius 20 or something like that.
Do it, will it? Yeah. Right. I don't think we need the people on top of them. Whatever they're called, jockeys. They're not jockeys, are they?
They're not jockeys.
No, no, whatever they are.
Horse riders.
Horse riders, that's the ones, right. I don't think we need them at all. So what I want the horses to go out there and really freestyle. So they can wear nice, elaborate... It's a bit like Strictly, right? But they go out there on their own as horses and just dance.
Can they dance with other horses? Can they be a duet?
Well, I guess you could have various different sections in this particular competition. But so they come out, their contemporary music they're dancing to, it could be anything they like. But they get sort of marks for artistic interpretation, coordination, and what they look like so how fancy their costumes are, just the overall performance.
Wow, I like the sound of it.
We don't need the
I will
jockeys.
Say,
they're not jockeys. Sorry, I keep saying they're jockeys. Don't I? We don't need any jockeys.
We don't need them to get carried away though, because then like things like bicycles might think they can do that as well.
Bicycles are inanimate objects. They haven't got a mind of their own
yet.
Okay, right. Well, if you've got one about bikes...
I mean, let's be honest, horses are just bicycles with legs.
They are bicycles with legs, I've always said that. They don't need the jockeys on top of them. They just need to go out and do they're not jockeys. They just need to go out and do their thing.
Right, I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
that's in them.
All I've written is titles for mine.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read them in different order to what I've written them, because I always do that.
Great.
one of the ones I've come up with is one that I'm thinking, well, I could compete in this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I could compete in. I feel like I've got quite big lung capacity.
Oh, I wonder what you're going to say then.
Yep. Lung capacity.
Yep.
And I feel like I've got quite strength in my breath.
In your breath,
Yep.
right? Where's this going?
So I think having something like water spitting and seeing like how far you could
spit water,
put water in your mouth and then spray it like a fountain. See how far you get it.
Wow.
And because there's lots of pool sports, but there's no pool sports about having fun.
No, so you you could have spitting, Olympic
spin through a ring.
Spitting, Olympic bombing.
Yep.
Cannonballs. Heavy petting.
Yep. Olympic running on the side of the pool.
Yep.
And not slipping.
Yep. Oh, right, I see. So all those things that you saw on that notice that when you used to go to the swimming pool,
and
you've
Olympic
done as
smoking.
part of a sort of modern swimming pentathlon.
Yeah.
Ah, see, we're getting
and they've
somewhere
got to
now.
not get caught by the lifeguard.
If they get whistled,
you're out.
They're the yellow card. If they get whistled twice, they're disqualified.
They get removed from the pool
Oh,
and
mate,
sent to the
that's
showers
fantastic.
with a jam sandwich.
I'm liking that a lot. I can
Yeah.
see that working. So I'm trying to think. There was no running, no bombing. No spitting would. Hopefully, no heavy petting,
No smoking.
no smoking. So is that going to be
loads
one
of
as
cool
well?
kids on the edge of the pool.
Is that one of the rounds as well, where they have to sit and smoke? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that one's for me.
No eating.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll go for the no eating rather than no
Yeah, okay,
smoking.
right.
They've got
No.
to eat a jam sandwich without being caught.
Okay, you used to love a jam sandwich,
Yeah,
didn't you,
after
after swimming? Yeah. No, that's great.
That's a top tip for anyone. If you go and swimming and you're in the changing rooms waiting for your family member to get changed because you're a very little child, have a jam sandwich. It's great.
Oh, excellent. Right. Me next, is it?
Your turn.
Okay, I'm going to pitch put.
What?
Right. Put.
Oh, for goodness sake.
Well, you asked me to say it twice.
I didn't hear you the first time. Then I clocked what you said. I thought I misheard you.
Right, so
I didn't mishear you.
each competitor does a poo.
Can I just point out to people listening?
Yep.
Is everyone thinks I get all because I know I've got to bleep it, but you do it on purpose.
Oh, I think this is a great idea. You're the one who
Right.
asked me to repeat it. I'd have only said put once
Oh
if
my
that was
goodness.
the case. Each competitor does a poo and throws it as far as they can. Points will be awarded for weight, distance, and consistency.
Right.
Good?
Except for the name.
Oh, well, I'll have to think of another. As I'm sitting here, I'll see if I can think of another name.
All right. Like ploppling.
Fudge throwing.
Fudge throwing. I like fudge throwing.
Okay. Well, what do you reckon, though?
I reckon it's very unhygienic.
I wouldn't spit in and heavy
and
petting isn't.
monkeys will love it.
Oh, monkeys will love it.
Right.
The Monkey Olympics.
Now-
the Monkey Olympics.
Wow.
Right, anyway, go on.
Anyway, so there's a lot of people that are at home, they're watching the Olympics, watching the Paralympics. Maybe they've got home from work and they're ironing their shirt for the next day, or their
Ironing
children's
their shirt for the
children's
next day.
shirt for the next day of school or something like that, even though it's in the summer. And what they're thinking is, I can't do any of this. Well, how about this sport?
Go on. Yeah.
Extreme ironing.
Extreme ironing.
Yeah. So there'll be like different events to it. One being that you have to make it as far as you can on one ironing
Stroke.
stroke, and you've got to go long distance.
Yeah.
You also got to see how quickly you can iron things.
Right.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Oh, my God.
Got those two.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was it? Did you
And
read
see
that off a back?
what items you can iron.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Like
So
a
someone have a
toasty
pile of ironing and
or
they
a
have to
jam
get as many.
sandwich.
It sounds like a game show rather than an Olympic sport, but you know,
Well, isn't that what Olympics is all about?
I suppose
They're just
they
games in
are
a show.
glorified game shows, aren't they?
I'm waiting
Right.
for spill or no spill to show up in the
Oh
Olympics.
no! Please don't talk about that again. Okay, all right. I hear you're ironing,
weakest
competitive
sink.
ironing, right? And I'll raise you freestyle swimming.
That's already in the Olympics.
Well, no, not like this it isn't. Right, so basically you've got to do 1,500 metres.
Right.
So that's, I don't know how many lengths of an Olympic swimming pool.
I will
But-
point out, isn't 1,500 metres quite a lot for swimming?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the idea is to stay alive, right? Because in the pool's full of fish, right?
Right.
Real fish, right?
This is
Including...
at the end of the Olympics. They've had all the other pool
Oh, you'd have to
sports.
do it at the end of all the other
And
swimming.
also take the chlorine out of the pool.
Yeah. There's an octopus in there, right?
Excellent.
There's
Just one.
one octopus, yeah.
Yep.
There's sharks, crabs, eels, and other aquatic terrors. And basically, they've got to get 1,500 metres going up and down the pool, and the last one alive, or the first one to 1,500 metres. Actually, if there's only one left alive, they win automatically anyway, and they're pulled out of the pool, right? Irrespective of how far they've gone.
Yeah.
The idea is that if there's a dead heat, then it's whoever reaches 1,500 metres.
I'm going to be honest, Dad. I
Yeah.
can see a lot of them making it to the end.
A lot of them making it to the end.
Yeah, because I really don't think the creatures you've picked are really going to cause... I think they're going to be more freaked out by the people swimming.
Sharks.
Yeah.
The sharks won't attack
Depends what
them.
shark you got.
We're attacking sharks.
Oh, right. They're attacking
A
sharks.
special adapted Olympic...
The probably most deadly one you mentioned there was
Octopus.
an octopus. And
Yeah.
it depends which type of octopus it is.
It's one of the really
Poisonous ones?
violent ones.
Right. The violent ones that carry knives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
alright.
it's a sort of aggressive. All of these are very aggressive.
Right, they're trained
Right,
to be
that's
aggressive.
the whole point of it, yeah.
Right.
No? Okay, go on.
1 to 3, pick a number.
2.
All right. This is skydiving slalom.
Right.
So you jump out of a plane,
Yeah.
and you know how in video games you have to dive through rings and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They got to do that.
Wow, that's
got a-
very
got a
very
skydive
close to something I've thought of.
Through rings in the air.
In the air. Well, I've got diving into various substances with different danger levels, incorporating circus-type skills. So a lot of these will be light, these rings that I have to dive through from the diving board. But they'll be diving into not water, but different substances. And where with diving you get points for... technique, but points for difficulty. That's the word I was looking for.
And no splash.
And no splash. And no splash.
And no splash.
These will, depending on what you choose to dive into. So if you choose to dive into jelly, it's quite a low mark. Custard, beans.
Custard would be pretty hard, though.
What if it's got a big skin on the top?
Well, no, because custard is a semi-liquid.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm talking about.
So, like, if you went into cornflower mix
Well,
with
the
water,
idea is
that would
that-
really hurt.
That if you want one of the higher marked dives difficulty, then you'll have more fire, and it could be like into acid,
Wow.
right, or oil.
Lava.
Yeah,
I don't know why
lava.
I don't know why I said lava away from the mic.
Lava. Who are you saying lava to then?
I needed to cough,
Yeah.
so I moved away from the mic.
Lava.
But instead said lava away from the mic and almost
Okay.
came back to cough.
So yeah, so that's just dangerous diving. I mean, so yours skydiving, I suppose that incorporates both.
Yeah.
If it's from a long way up, then that's the same sort of one
And
anyway.
it's got a
isn't it?
liquid of some kind at the bottom. Or
Excellent.
like Lego.
Yeah.
Diving into Lego.
Oh.
Ooh,
That's a
was that Maui speaking?
9.2. Oh, I don't like you. Anyway.
So, right. So is it my turn now?
I don't know.
Because I said skydiving and you said diving.
Okay.
So it's my turn now. Yeah?
All right.
You sure?
All right.
Right. Dance mat.
What, as in like...
As in a dance mat. You know when you go to the arcade and there's
Yeah.
a dance mat, or when back in the PS2 days and PS1 days more so, you had a dance mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dance mat.
Yeah. Or modern era, just dance.
Just dance.
Yeah.
So are you talking about it being that you're set particular moves, or is it just a dance competition, a dance off?
It's a dance off,
Yeah,
but on a dance mat.
on a dance mat.
Yeah.
Right. So okay. So it's incorporating.
So who gets the
sort of-
highest score?
Right. All right. And again, with varying degrees of like from
If
Rah
you
Rah
pick-
Rasputin
If you pick a harder song,
to Backstreet Boys.
well, Backstreet Boys is a great one to
Yeah.
perform.
Okay, so making it more accessible to people that do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean that's the same with every sport, isn't it?
Yes.
Making swimming more
Jockeys.
accessible to swimmers.
Yes. Okay.
I've only got one more though.
Pole dancing. Oh, I think
you
that's
see-
that's off a different list. I think that's for the up and coming bucket list episode we were going to
Oh,
do.
right, okay.
What have I got? Synchronized squirrels. All right.
Go on.
Each country has trainers.
Solo synchronized squirrels.
See, because that would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Synchronized squirrels. Each country train a group of 6 squirrels. They only need 5, but they've got one in reserve
Yep. Right.
just
fair
in
enough.
case there's injuries or.
It's the
yeah.
same with when you have a relay team.
Oh yeah,
There's
yeah.
always extras.
There might be heats anyway, so yeah.
Like
And
swimming
they
relays
perform
and
routines
running relays.
in the swimming pool. Can squirrels swim?
Probably give them armbands.
Yeah, might have to, because otherwise that's going to not last very long, is it? But yeah, I just think that everybody likes squirrels. Well, most people like squirrels.
Becky doesn't like
Oh,
squirrels.
Becky don't like squirrels, does she? Well, you don't have to watch that one, does she? But most people like squirrels.
Unless you can watch
and they're going to
the
look,
horse.
they're going to
without
look
jockeying.
great, aren't they? And then if they're synchronised with those bushy tails and all the rest of it, I just think it's something that should have been done a long, long while ago.
All right.
And then I'm willing to, if that goes well, start to introduce other animals into the. But I think the key to all of this is the synchronised side of it.
Similarly, you could get dolphin 100-meter sprint on land.
Yeah,
Yeah.
out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because squirrels aren't used to water. So.
Yeah, all big and mouthy while you're in the water. Now let's see you flap about for 100 metres.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Or like a hamster will fill with water. Anyway, I've got one more.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay, go for
So
it.
I've got a winter Olympic sport.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, that was an interesting. Oh.
Yes.
So, obviously, in the winter, very slippery outside, isn't it?
Well, it can be. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it's really dangerous going out driving in the winter.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you see someone cycling in the winter, you think, oh my God, you're on the next level kind of thing. And this is a sport built for them. It's snow cycling.
Right.
When you're on a normal bicycle in ice and snow.
So no spikes on the.
No spikes, no chains, just your normal tyres. And make it even more interesting, make it one of the bikes that they use in the velodrome
Right.
that have
So-
no brakes.
They have no brakes as well. And what, are they coming down the side of a mountain or?
It's all different ones. There might be like road ones where they've got a long journey. There might be a velodrome type thing made out of snow. Imagine that.
But the main theme is it's horrendously dangerous.
Yes.
Okay.
Similarly to your not very dangerous waters swimming with fish.
No, that
Well, I'm putting sharks. in the
believe
snow
me,
as
no.
well.
And it's the thing with that is as well, you don't know who they're going to go for first.
Are you talking about your one now?
Yeah,
right.
I think that's the key thing there. You could have trained for 4 years, right, with your own octopuses and sharks, but then you get into ones that are actually.
Why are we talking about your one again?
I don't know. I just felt I needed to flesh it out a little bit more because I don't
Alright.
think you quite understood the concept of it. But basically, I mean, in a controlled environment,
You're still going.
when you've got your own octopus and your own sharks and your own crabs and that, that's all
Well,
very well.
don't wanna
That's
know
all
about your
very well
crabs.
doing that, right? But when you go into a different environment where it's a neutral environment, but these are all Olympic supplied aquatic menaces, then it's a random thing,
And
isn't
you
it?
don't want to get crabs from someone else.
No,
want
you
your own
don't. And it's
crabs.
a random thing, and you don't know I mean, you could have been training for 4 years. You get there.
Oh my God!
Right, and you
Why
get
are you
there,
still going?
and you're just unlucky, and that's what the Olympics is all about: being
Unlucky.
savaged by an animal randomly when you've done everything in your power. You've had all the best coaches in the world. You've been disciplined. Your diet's spot on. You've given up so much, and then a leopard comes out from the side and takes you out. No, not
in the water.
But that's something.
Or a leopard eel.
Right. And the only other one I had was
And cycling then, yeah?
snow cycling. Snow cycling sounds all right. Sounds dangerous, but sounds good. The only other one I had was the pommel horse in gymnastics. I haven't really thought it through, but it's got to be a real horse.
Oh, right.
Right? You can glue handles on the
Or a
top if it
seahorse?
makes it easier. No, that's not going to work, is it? If it's easier, you can glue some handles on that you can use.
That's really unfair because glue is often made from horses, not handles.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that could be quite upsetting. I don't want to upset anybody.
No.
Okay. We'll stick with the swimming with dangerous animals.
Right. And we didn't discuss snow cycling that much because you got distracted.
I don't think you realise...
No, we're not doing this again. We're not doing it again.
No. But it sounds like you haven't got the idea.
I've got it. Don't need to go into it again. Because you know what I want to do?
What?
I want to end this podcast.
Yeah, all right. I'll say one last
I mean,
thing.
not end it like as a 32. I mean, for this week.
Okay. But can I just say this? I can't stress enough how dangerous these things are.
All right.
Okay, thanks very much for your time.
No, thank you. Right. And like apart from that, anything else you want to mention?
Not really.
No, right. Well, in that case, so you're happy with me to wrap up? It was a fun game. That was a fun little thing to do.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
I wasn't mucking about though.
No, yes, all right. That was fun. Right, okay. I'm a little bit worried about you now. Anyway, well, if you did enjoy that, remember we've got 31 other podcasts we've recorded that you can listen to.
31? I can't believe there's 31 other ones.
Yeah, and on all if you've got a different platform that you want to listen to it, like name it, we're probably on it. So listen to it on it. Like Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, we'll be there. Other than that, though, we've also got our website, fatherandsundays.com, where you can go on and listen to podcasts. We've also got a contact us page where you can leave us, send us a message, send us a complaint, question, comments, whatever. A store, you can buy things on there to help us fund this podcast because it's not free making a podcast and it'd be very much appreciated. We've also got What's New page where we post occasional blogs, which Dad promises to do sometimes.
Yep.
Then doesn't do them.
No.
Still waiting on that recipe.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we've got many different social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, many of them, all free.
Yeah.
You can follow us, like us on those, share us as well. Also, you can also leave reviews on your chosen podcast platform if it allows it, like iTunes. That'd be much appreciated.
It would be, yeah. Just tell a friend.
Yeah,
Just
tell a friend.
And they can tell another friend.
What are they going to tell the friend?
Anything they like, really. But if they can incorporate the fact that it might be worth giving it a listen, if they really feel that, I don't want them to lie, then, word of mouth, hopefully we'll get more people listening to it.
Or if you really hate your friend and you want to make them listen.
Yeah, upset them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much for doing that.
You're welcome.
Oh, great. So I'm going to say my goodbyes then.
All right, go on then.
I'll see you later.
You
Thanks,
can say
everybody.
goodbye then.
Bye.
All right. Thanks. See you next week.